Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist. So, just a reminder, it is really okay if all you did today, or last week, or this month is survive. I know that sounds very counterproductive coming from a mental health provider. Oftentimes, mental health providers, we are taught to help people see the silver lining, to help people improve their wellness, to reframe their thoughts, and all that is great. But we also tell people it's okay to not be okay, but then immediately come up with interventions to help them be okay. And that's fine. But what about sitting in the space of not okay? To tell people it's okay to not be okay and then immediately try to get them into the space of okay means that you didn't give them time to rest in where they were. We don't give people time to rest in their feelings because all of us, not even just your regular, average, everyday people, but even mental health providers, we're not comfortable with people not being okay. We're not comfortable with people suffering. We're not comfortable with people's sadness. We're not comfortable with those things. So we immediately put in interventions and therapeutic modalities and all these different things to help people get to the other side of not okay instead of really just being real and saying it's okay to not be okay and meaning it. I say that because lately, lately being like this whole year, if not longer, a lot of us have been focused on the bigger macro scale issues. We've been focused on what the government is doing or is not doing. We've been focused on the blatant racism that has gotten heightened. We've been focused on the anti blackness of this society. We've been focused on these really grand themes, forgetting that every individual person has micro scale issues happening in their everyday lives, whether that be they are struggling financially, whether that be relationship or family issues, marriage issues, parenting issues. Like people have real things going on every day that are seemingly small compared to the macro scale issues, but big in their life, right? And sometimes all you can do is survive that. That's it. I know we harp on thriving versus survival, but thriving is outside of the purview of a bunch of people who are surviving. And we do a disservice to people by not just saying it's really okay that you survived. I told somebody recently to find one thing to hang on for. Just one thing. For a lot of people with kids, such as myself, our children are our only reason we are still here. We are still here because our children are still here. That's it. For other people without kids, it might be something else. It might be their mom or their siblings or somebody else, something else. But find something to hang on for. Because when you're in survival mode, that's all you have is what you are surviving for, right? So give people that space. This time of year, seasonal affective disorder is really big. That is a type of depression that only occurs in the fall and winter seasons for most people. We have less daylight and it's cold and people get depressed. But also, I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that we fight against nature at this time of year. Think about other animals, bears, other animals, specifically animals that hibernate or that slow down drastically once the cold weather creeps in. They do that for a reason, but we don't do that. Halloween just passed, Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas is next, and typically people are working extra hours to make money for these holidays. People are doing more out shopping, socializing, all these different things that we do that are the opposite of what? Rest. So at a time of year where everything outside is dying down, we are ramping up and then wondering why we feel so drained. That might be why. So it's really okay to slow down. It's okay to just survive the season and come out of the other side. Then, for those of us in positions of being helper in some way, whether that's people who work in the mental health field, the medical field, the legal field now, the political field, the ones in the political field that's trying to do the right things, no matter what the field is, if you are in a helping position, spiritual fields, religious fields, again, doing what you're supposed to be doing, for others. You might be experiencing extreme burnout by now, or at least getting there. And that's because we also don't slow down. A lot of times, helpers pour from an empty cup. We we are not often pouring from a cup that's overflowing, which is what we should be doing. But no, we're pouring from empty cups. And you might be doing that too, even if you're not in the helping fields. In your family, in your life, you might be the one that's pouring from an empty cup. Nothing being poured back into you, but you're the helper, right? That's your role. You help, you do. And it's okay for you to slow down too. Sometimes you have to, or you'll have a complete break. At one point or another, you're going to break. So if you're feeling burned out, this would be the proper time of year to draw back, pull it back. And it's funny to me that oftentimes the people who help other people the most are those with the least. A lot of us who pour into other people, especially for free, we are doing so with the least. We don't have an abundance. We just don't. But we do for others because it's just in us to do so. And that shows up in different ways, right? But like right now, there are people literally worried about not eating. That's a baseline. Like before I can think about anything else, I'm worried about not eating. For a lot of people, that's a baseline. You have to hit immediate needs first. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If I'm hungry, I could care less about anything else because I'm hungry. So think about that. Think about that. And then go back to the first thing I said. It is really okay if all you did today is survive. And to those out there who have never been in a struggle, have never been in survival mode, don't understand it, especially those out there who are able to feed their families and things like that, realize something. You are closer to needing help and assistance than you are to buying a yacht or a mansion or being rich. You're closer to one end than the other. Think about that as you talk about what other people are going through. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of y'all day, and I will holler at y'all later.